You know what I've learned really quickly?
What's that?
I outweigh you by probably 100 pounds.
Could be good and bad.
It's not good. I can tell you that it's not good.
Good for a wrestling match.
Been there, done that, Andy. I don't need to do that stuff anymore. I'm too old.
Nope. I'm just gonna put my foot on the floor and I'm not lifting till I see God or a checkered flag.
We might start the car here. Should be loading, but we're not yet. So, we're going to pretend we're all happy on the podcast.
Hold on a second.
But,
let me check the ARCA schedule. Aren't y'all supposed to be in Rockingham here in a couple of days?
Yeah. We're getting there.
I made an eBay purchase.
I see that.
I don't know where these, I don't know if they still make these, but these like throwback winter circle like button ups that they all like, they have different driver on the pocket. These things, they fit fat guys like me perfect. I've
been on a NASCAR history kick lately, so I've been reminded of how awesome Dale is. So he's been on my mind lately.
Who was it that said like Dale wouldn't work in this era? Was it Harvick? Denny Hamlin. You can't that's the old guys like that. It's like a Michael Jordan thing. They're old guys that are like, nah, won't stand for it. Not gonna hear it.
It's funny you say that because our new kid, Dakota in the shop here, made a point that Kyle Busch would be ranked higher on the all-time greats list than Dale Earnhardt. And he lives in Kannapolis. And I'm like, I feel like I was so upset by this. Like, I want to like post something on Craigslist. Like the Kannapolis, like Craigslist, that like you live here and you think this, and like you're going to go home and there's just going to be like pitchforks and torches of people lined up in front of your house. Like, hey, you think he's better than Dale? Like Dale Earnhardt finished out the last like 33 races of a season at age 47 with a broken neck.
Yeah, they don't make them like that anymore.
No, he had like a bone splint that was like poking one of his nerves. So as soon as the race started, his right hand would go completely numb. He just raced left-handed. And he's like 47 years old in a cup car. He did it for like 30 weeks because he didn't want to have the surgery at the end of the season. Like who does, like, at age 47, like, didn't have to do it no more. And they fixed it. He came back, almost won the championship.
And nothing against the drivers now, but like if a guy gets like turf toe, he's like, I'm out for the season. I can't be doing this.
No, he put it on the pole, Watkins Glen with a new track record with broken ribs. I mean, I don't know. It's just so much different now. Like drivers talk about, and I get it. Like, you want to be safe, you want to be healthy and all that. And it's still this priority of it. And like, you listen to these old guys talk and it was like, no one wanted that to happen, but it was just like, it happens. Like, we're race car drivers. It is what it is. I was gladiators.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Okay, let's jump into it. So tell us where you're at, Andy.
We are at the KLAS Motorsports shop today doing a little podcast. Did you see the race cars in the back? I think we're going to get erupted here in a minute when they fire them up. But
we're not getting erupted. That's staying in. Oh, by the way, shout out Wheeling.
Shout out Wheeling.
Yeah.
Wheeling sure about. Next, it's not that loud. Still hear me?
It's so good. So good.
Well, I'm taking time out for a minute.
All right, we're back. Car sounds good.
Yep, everything went good. I asked Mike to keep the noise down, and he didn't appreciate it and kept doing what he was doing. So,
well, okay. So shout out to Mike. Here's how fast we are on the production side. So Andy went out there, shot a video of the car, and it sounds good.
Yeah, I posted it on Facebook too. We're rocking and rolling, hitting on all cylinders today. So that's Debbie. That's going to be our car that we're going to be racing at Rockingham. We're just getting ready to load that one up. the second one in line, the one that they're walking around now, that's going to be our backup car that we have no intention on using, but she'll be there if we need it. That is Calamity Jane, nicknamed Charlotte, because we would call it the Charlotte car. Because originally, when I purchased that car, we were just trying to go to Charlotte, so it was like I don't even know what you want to call it. Just didn't sleep for like 10 days. Got the thing there because we took all the parts off one car, put it on the other. So, but we call it Calamity Jane because she was a real person in Deadwood, and Deadwood was famous for starting on fire, and Calamity Jane likes to start on fire. So we call her Calamity Jane, and hopefully that doesn't bring any bad omens for the future. But a car, I'll always finish good if it finished.
I mean, some days that's all you're asking for, right? Is like, can we just finish this race?
That's all before KLAS started towards the end of when I was doing it. That was all we were asking for, and it just wouldn't happen. We started out good, and, yeah, this is great. We were top 10 every race, and then we started crashing and starting on fire, and all sorts of bad things are happening. And then Uncle Kevin came and saved me, so it worked out.
All right, so break down Rockingham for me. So if you're watching this, we're getting better about this. This episode will actually be out Friday before Andy even gets to Rockingham. But Rockingham is a track, like it, dislike it, things you like about it, things you don't. What are you expecting?
Well, it's a new one, obviously. The only thing I know is from Steve Park's interview in 2001 when he said that he just remembered Dale's instructions. It was the week after Earnhardt had passed away in the Daytona 500. He said Dale taught him how to run this place, and he told him to stay off the brakes. So my goal is just to go there and stay off the brakes. So we're gonna give that a shot and see how it goes. It'll be new for everybody, and even anyone that might remember going there 20 years ago. It's going to be a different racetrack anyway with pavement and all that. So, I'm sure some of the higher up teams will have a little bit of data from the Xfinity test they did there, but I got a smart crew chief and smart car owners, and Mike's been there before, so I'm sure he knows what to expect. So, we'll see. We're doing some new stuff with some aerodynamic stuff that we're trying. So, at the end of the day, you can kind of tune in what you got, but what you got is what you got. So I think if we go there with the right plan and we unload good, I think we'll be good.
Now, is this race on Flow or is this a Fox race?
This is the only one we're doing. It's just gonna be on Flow. But that's still pretty cool. The Flow guys do an awesome job with all that. So I'm excited. The Flow crew is more people, around the modified racing scene. So I'm thinking we're going to get some cool coverage, and I'm pretty excited about it.
All right. So, so I do have to ask you about it. So ARCA put out some driver profile pics. Have you seen these yet?
Oh yeah.
There's our boy. Yeah,
yep.
buddy.
It gets better.
Oh, I pulled it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it goes. Yeah. I don't know why. So there was more. They just stopped. I don't know where the rest of them went. So you can see what direction it was going though. But, this is where they stopped posting the pictures. So a little disappointed with that. It definitely got a little bit racier. As I remember, there was a bearskin rug and a fireplace and some pretty, it got a little hot and heavy in there, but apparently they didn't think that was appropriate for the ARCA website.
Hey, but listen, ARCA, if you're watching, it's appropriate for our podcast. If you just want to send those images, we'll use them.
Yeah, I'm sure they didn't burn them or destroy them or anything like that. I'm sure they're sitting on somebody's mantle or, just not on the website apparently.
This will be this will be in the thumbnail of this episode. Like this has to be in the thumbnail of this YouTube video.
Yep. It's weird. I don't even think I have that much chest hair. It's just that one spot, I guess. I don't really know. It doesn't seem like I have that much. It's
very misleading. Like you are wearing a bearskin rug. I'm like, I don't think my boy is that hairy, but okay.
He's not.
All right. So excited for Rockingham. If you're watching this, watch that on Flow. This will be the only race on Flow this year. But we want to make sure that you do. For a little history of Rockingham for maybe just casual fans, a historic racetrack, but went 20 years or more without being raced on, as far as this type of thing?
No, they had some racing there maybe 15 years ago, maybe a little bit less. Cup left there in '04, and then it sat dormant. And then Andy Hillenberg and there was a group that tried to revive it. They at least ran trucks there, maybe Xfinity. I know they ran ARCA, but Cup's never been back. And then it sat for a while, and then whatever, there was an influx of cash in the budget for the state a couple years ago, like maybe pre-COVID, where money was allotted to Rockingham and North Wilkesboro, and that's where the revival process began with those two facilities. And when North Wilkesboro got up and running a little bit quicker, I guess, and now Rockingham, this is going to be their return to the the Premier Series type of racing, and it should be a great addition. It'd be exciting to see the Cup cars go back there. I don't know what races you're going to start trading off, but I think if you watch the 4-year decline in the NASCAR, Cup Series in popularity, I think, one of the first things you circle is when they removed Rockingham from the schedule, in my opinion. I think when they removed Rockingham and they took Darlington's date away on Labor Day and gave it to California Speedway, for me, that broke my heart. So I don't know how the other NASCAR fans feel about it, but I think you see NASCAR trending more towards, its roots and stuff like that. So I think if this is a successful weekend, I think you can for sure, could maybe see a Cup race there, or who knows, maybe we'll just go there. I think some weeks we put on a pretty good show anyway. So I'm sure everyone will be tuning in, and we're going to be a doubleheader with the Xfinity Series. So, I think the place is probably going to be rocking. I'm sure a lot of people are going to want to go back to the track. A lot of people that, went there for years and years and probably missed the place. And, you get a lot of people that want to just come check it out and see what's going on over there. So I expect it will be in front of probably one of our bigger crowds for sure. I think that'll be cool. The North Carolina faithful, this is home for a lot of these race teams. So, I think there'll be a lot of family there too. And it should be an exciting weekend. Really pumped about it.
Big shout out to Dale Earnhardt Jr. I know a few years ago he kind of started talking about this on his podcast a lot, about some of the old racetracks that he wished for them to go back to. I know this one's on your is on the list. Is there any other tracks, like, personally on your list that you go, man, I'd love to see us be able to go back there at some point?
Well, certainly Rockingham coming back is cool. Unfortunately, the ones that are they're no longer sitting there. They're gone now. So a lot of those cool facilities, long gone. If you keep going back to the schedule, though, I mean, the Nashville Fairgrounds is always, hosted races until, I believe, the 1984. But a lot of these tracks are gone now. I give a big shout out to Matt Dillner and everyone that's working really hard, continuing this process that was started with Dale Jr. that influenced, the saving of North Wilkesboro and the saving of Rockingham, because now they're trying to save Greenville Pickens, and that's a track that I always wanted to go to. I always thought that place was so cool, and the only time they had a mod race there, I didn't have my program together enough that I could make it, and I didn't think it was going anywhere, and then all of a sudden it disappeared. So hopefully something happens with Greenville Pickens. I know Dillner's been going down there when they have like city board meetings about it. And, everyone's working really hard, and there's a lot of love going on down there. So a track like that would be cool.
Yeah, well, here's what we need. We need someone like a Jeff Bezos get real interested in NASCAR and just start pumping money into reviving some of these. I love it. Dale did that show where they went to some of those dead racetracks. Man, it's cool. I don't know if you've seen that show. It is cool,
Yeah.
but it's like a little depressing too.
That's horribly depressing. Oh my God, yes. It's, yeah, no, it just breaks your heart because, we inside the racing community, we know how much we love it and what it all means to us. And there's no replacement for it when it's gone, like none. Like there's nothing in this world that we're ever going to love. It's nothing to love racing. So,
No,
tracks are just appearing faster than they're reappearing. And, I think when you really look at, how it all works now, I mean, these facilities, there's so much regulation and intrusion into these facilities that it's so hard to make money, you know, in racing as a profitable business that, the people that are running these places, like there's examples of professional facilities going on right now, but a lot of the people running these racetracks are, breaking even just for the love of it or losing money or not making enough money to justify the amount of time that they're spending in it. So, it sucks, and it's, I don't really know exactly what the answers are. I think racing's become a little bit too expensive and then let it get a little bit out of control. But, yeah, it certainly would be nice to see something like that go on where maybe someone got a little interested and brought a couple of these things back and sees because there's value in it, if, you know, I think as much as we love it, I think people that don't love it are just the ones that just don't really know about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's I just got back from Chicago, my first time at Wrigley Field. Been a Cubs fan my entire life, never been to Wrigley Field, and when I walked in that place, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I got very emotional, and I was not prepared for how emotional I would get. But,
I believe it.
I've been to, I've been to watch a Rangers game and I've been to some modern baseball stadiums, but walking into Wrigley, I was like, and it's had a lot of work done. It has a lot of the modern amenities. There's been, they spent $900 million reviving it to bring it up to, what it needs to be to compete. And, and NASCAR is real similar. I mean, I've been to Daytona. It's awesome. It is awesome, but you have to keep. There's some tracks, there's some baseball stadiums, there's some basketball stadium. They have to stay around. Like you can't just go, well, the fans need the club seats. It's like, do the fans need it or do you need it to make money? Because those are two very different things.
Well, and apparently somebody's recognized it because facilities like Wrigley and Fenway. You know, I'm actually a Red Sox fan. I've never been to Fenway. I think this is the year I'm going to make it. A couple of our sponsors, Todd and Jody from Florida Safety Systems, attend stuff out there, and they've invited me. And I think this is the year I'm just going to make it happen. But, somebody must recognize the value in that because the people that go to Fenway say it's not, the easiest facility to navigate. It's not the most accommodating. It's not the most comfortable, but it's badass. And I've been down there, and it's actually there's a Buffalo Bills bar, like a Bills backer bar, located underneath the bleachers over there. It's called Bleacher Bar. So I've actually been in it, but I've never actually seen a game there. I've seen the field, but it's built on this city block, and it can't go nowhere. It's running into a street on every end, and that's why they had the Green Monster because they can't push the outfield out anymore. So they figure, fuck it, we'll just put a wall there, and if you can knock it over the wall, then whatever, you earned it. But it's a short field, really. So it's pretty cool though. And and we have that in NASCAR, right? Like we still go to Darlington, and obviously Daytona's a treasure and all that, but I feel like they're recognizing it now. And I think where NASCAR started to make a turn in popularity, where it started going downhill from where it was in the 90s, was when they started, they closed down North Wilkesboro, and they added Texas and they added Vegas, and that was cool. And then there's Fontana, and I think once, and it's funny I say this because my favorite track to race on is actually Kansas Speedway, but I think it was 2003 or 4, somewhere in there. They added might have been a little bit earlier, but they started, squeezing out some of these tracks in the Southeast to give these dates to these other facilities. And I think it sort of robbed NASCAR of some of its, that the culture feel that it had, being, with roots in North Carolina and South Carolina and in the rural South and all that. And, I think a lot of fans lost touch with it because of that. And I think they recognize that now, and they're trying to work their way back from that. But, we'll see. things evolve, things change, and things grow, and things come and go, and maybe the next revival's right around the corner, and the next boom for NASCAR's coming in a couple years, and we'll say, oh my God, they knew exactly what they were doing. But um, I think it's going the right way in the past few years. I really do. I think it went the wrong way for so long, and I think North Wilkesboro and even the dirt race was cool. I was actually a fan of the dirt race. I thought that was awesome once a year. I was actually sad to see it go, but um, they're on a road course kick now too. But I think they're kind of starting to get over that, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to Texas. I It's cool, I guess, but it's the coolest thing about Texas Motor Speedways is it's across from a Buc-ee's. Like that's there's not like a whole lot. It's not like the infrastructure built out around that track. It's kind of out there. There's not like a whole bunch of stuff around. It's kind of out there by itself, and um, like I said, I did not expect to get emotional at Wrigley. They played a video of Bill Murray talking about the first time his brother took him to Wrigley Field, and they got a video up, and they're playing like Field of Dreams music or whatever, and he's like, and my brother told me to close my eyes, and he walked me up the stairs, and he said, "Open your eyes," and like I opened my eyes, and I knew I was home, and I'm standing up. And Brittany's probably got it on video. I got tears rolling down my face. I called my mom. I was like, I don't get it. I don't know what happened. She's like, it's special. You just can't explain it. There's something about it that it's special. And I know NASCAR has got such a deep history, and I think it's cool that people have gotten kind of into the history of it the last 4 or 5 years. YouTube has helped a ton with people being able to get to know some of these drivers. So yeah, if you're NASCAR, hey, we love what you're doing. Just you don't have to get out of the South all the time. Like it's great, but like the South is where it started. Like as many of those races as you can keep in the South, let's just do that.
No, it's never gonna be quite what it was, and there's never gonna be another Dale Earnhardt. I think the nature of it just in general is sort of shifted to these younger drivers. Dale Earnhardt was a rookie at 29 years old, and like Dick Trickle was a rookie at 48. So you just don't see stuff like that anymore. It used to be that the Mark Martins and the Rusty Wallaces cut their teeth in the ASA and earned their keep and got up there. Our team owner, Andy Seitz, made a really interesting point to me about, where the disconnect kind of comes from today's NASCAR versus 90s NASCAR. And, he said, your hero can't be younger than you. And I never really thought about that, but you're right. It's hard. And it's weird because I was always an Earnhardt fan, and then Earnhardt passed away, and I was rooted for Junior, but he was never like my dude like Dale was, and probably the closest I got to really pulling for someone was Rusty Wallace till the end of his career. And after Rusty, I never identified with any of the drivers. I'd still pay attention to it, but the last few years I've gotten more and more invested, and I feel like I really root for Denny Hamlin now. Just kind of chasing that championship. And it's right though, because these are the few guys left that I'm ever going to watch in NASCAR. They're older than me, So once Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch are gone, I don't know, like Kyle, like I'm older than Larson, and these are probably the last guys left that are going to be older than. It's sort of an interesting way to think about it though, because you grow up and Dale Earnhardt's your hero, and now I'm 37 and I watch these races, and I see Carson Hocevar out there dumping guys, and that all just rubs me the wrong way. It's probably something to do with that. Your hero can't be younger than you. So it was an interesting point that I never considered.
Yeah, I mean, Martin Truex is his last year. He's born in 1980, so he's 44, and he's considered one of the old guys. Jimmy Johnson's running, a couple of races a year just for fun, it seems like, but it's definitely changed when
it's different. Earnhardt almost won a championship at age 49, and he finished second in points his last year.
That's wild.
Mark Martin Mark Martin was born in 1959, and he won his last race in 2009, I think. He might have won one in 2010, but he's the last driver born in the 50s to win, but he was, you know, if you do the math on it, I don't know, I think he won a couple years after. He's like 52 or something who won a race. Harry Gant was winning races in his 50s. It's crazy.
Now you got guys getting in cars that don't have a driver's license.
Yeah, no, and it's I don't know. You could nitpick it to death, and I think the biggest thing, probably more than anything, we could pick on NASCAR for their decisions, and we could pick on Rip Proprietor for taking the younger guys and putting them in the seats or whatever. But to me, it's just engineers. Yeah, I think we touched on this in a previous episode, but there's so much technology available now and resources available in these cars if you want to spend enough money to get there. And it exists. This didn't exist in the 80s. You put a car together and you did what you thought was best, and you tuned it in at the racetrack. And there's probably guys that won races with cars that had no idea why, and it probably had the underbody panning was just happened. The way they pop riveted it up just ended up being better, and they know why. But now it's you can spend so much money now on the engineering side of it that but without ridiculous amount of sponsorship, you need a funded situation. So you get these drivers that are coming up and they either have, dollars behind them from family or, a sponsor that they grabbed onto pretty quick that believes in them. And, they're all earning their keep, I mean, these guys that are coming up are just badass race car drivers. I mean, Paulie Hartwig, he doesn't fit any of the mold because those guys, I mean, he's just that good. His dad, those guys, they don't have a ton of resources, but his dad, his dad's one of my heroes for everything he's doing for his kid, because he has put this whole field together to, give his kid a chance, and his kid just is out there just, tearing it up. But, just as an example though, younger race car drivers like that, like they are that good, but they get put in these situations and, they're able to pull it off. So I'm not taking any credit away by any stretch of the imagination, because that's kind of the culture of what racing has become. But I think from a fan perspective, it is harder, for a guy watching the races to pull for a young kid like that that's, coming up versus like, a Rusty Wallace, and maybe they saw him at their, local, Wisconsin short track, or, they run a Toledo or something. They go, yeah, that's my dude, and you watch him, he ends up in Cup, it's just, I don't know. It's apples and oranges, I guess. It's this racing isn't what it used to be, but what it is still pretty cool, but it's just it's different.
We love it either way. So there you
Yep.
go. NASCAR, if you're watching, we love it either way. We're just
We're over here doing our deal, and we're probably a little bit of a throwback compared to what a lot of the other guys do. With the obviously we do everything professionally, but we're a bunch of old school racers over here, so we're still doing it. I'm not a 14-year-old kid. I'm getting my shot, so it does happen. It's I don't know. I guess just from the overall perspective of it, just from even the Cup side and what you turn on and what you're watching on Sunday. To me, just the biggest difference is just, those good old boys came up versus now it's just a younger crowd.
we got the boss coming. Is he available?
Boss cannot make it. He just had to cancel. He's opening a new store. I think I talked about this earlier, but might have got drowned out because Uncle Mike was back there making too much noise. But he's opened up a new Dax Market in Barstow, Oklahoma. So if you're from the area, check it out. Yeah, it's out by you. Yeah, he's gonna be out there. So he tried like heck to get away, but he's he's got a big team out there, and for him opening a new store is a pretty big deal. And as much as we're gonna miss him, I think everyone on the team understands that that's where he needs to be. So he's gonna go out there and do the store opening, but they're gonna have Flow on all the TVs, and they're gonna be we're actually featuring Dax on the hood this week with the new store opening. So everyone's going to go to the store opening and watch the Dax car out there, and it's going to be pretty exciting. We're also going to be featuring Wheeling. We got a musician, Skylar Whitfield, is also going to be on board this week. He's doing a concert next to the track Thursday and Friday. So check him out. We're going to be posting stuff about it all weekend. So we're all going to the concert. And then Skyler's going to come back down to the racetrack and hang out with us. So that's going to be pretty cool. So pretty pumped about that. You know, it's he does a lot of national anthems out here. He's from the North Carolina area. He's actually located in Myrtle Beach now, but excited to have him on board for sure.
Yeah, shout out Dax Market. I got called out for my Buc-ee's mug. So, Kevin, if you're watching, I will sport all the Dax things you want to send me. And
yeah, no, Dax blows Buc-ee's out of the water. People just don't know about it. You know, you go to a Dax and you'll never bother with a Buc-ee's again. You know, forget about it.
So shout out Dax opening up Bristow, Oklahoma, Saturday, 11 a.m. to 3. They're gonna have a simulator in there. You can test your driving skills. They're doing an Easter egg hunt for Easter weekend. So a lot of things happening with Dax. Before I let you get out of here, last thing I've got for you. I don't want to like jinx it, but you know this is kind of this is your type of track. All gas, no brakes. What are you hoping? Realistically, I mean, you guys are kind of. I think I said on the last thing. A couple of things fell right in Phoenix. I think you finished better. So what are you looking at Rockingham?
So Rockingham, you know, obviously that's going to be a new there's going to be 28 cars. You know, it's a mile long track, so it's somewhere between intermediate and a short track. But with the banking, I think we're going to kind of probably run it like an intermediate race. You know, my spotter TJ Majors isn't feeling good, so we're gonna have our other spotter Charlie Brown up in the stand for us. So I'll be working with a new spotter. I'm actually going over to his house. We're gonna jump on the simulator and start coming up with a little game plan for how we're gonna attack this place. But you know, it's like anything else. In order to finish first, you must first finish. So we're gonna watch out for the people that you know are gonna take care of themselves and you know, make sure we're running at the halfway breaks, keep her in the top 10, and you know, the second half, you know, for in that top 10 with a good race car, you know, things always get a little dicey. People start pushing and shoving. They drive into corners harder than they should and start using guys up. And, you know, we're just going to try to put ourselves in position to be taking advantage of that. So, pretty excited. We've done a lot of work on the car. Our crew chief Mike's been working really hard on a lot of the stuff with the aerodynamics and the setup. So, you know, I've been laying underneath them, helping them out with truck arms and doing all this other stuff. And, you know, we're attacking it from, we have some new things. It's going to be the same car as Phoenix, but we've upgraded some things and we're trying some new stuff. So, you know, ever evolving for sure and trying to find some speed out of old Debbie back there.
All right. So that's what we're looking for. Rockingham, first time in a long time. You know, a lot of history on that track, so it should be a fun one. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Good time today, buddy.
All right. Thank you, sir.